So what's the difference between an online marketplace and an e-commerce platform? Well, that's what I'm going to be discussing in this video. And the reason why I've decided to make this video is I was checking through my comments recently. Yes, I do read every single comment and I also reply to most comments on this channel. But one of the things I noticed was there was a bit of a recurring theme of a little bit of confusion between what online marketplace is and what an e-commerce platform is, and what the difference is and whether or not you should use one or the other. So I'm going to break the two options down in this video, so hopefully you understand what the difference is between these two options. Now, yes, they both fall under the banner of e-commerce and ways you can sell online, but it's very much like trying to compare apples and oranges. Yes, both of them are fruit, but they're both completely different, and it's very much the same principle when it comes to online marketplaces and e-commerce platforms. So let's get into the comparison between the two. So the first one we're going to be talking about is online marketplaces. Now, some names you may recognize that are actually online marketplaces are things like Amazon, eBay, Etsy, things like AliExpress and Alibaba as well are all online marketplaces. And these are great sales channels and they're also great ways to get selling online. I know that's why I used eBay when I first started selling online. This is because they have basically built a platform that allows you to sell online. They do all the work for you. They take care of all the technical aspects of the site, so building the site, maintaining it, securing it, making sure it works properly. They do all of that for you. You don't have to worry about any of the technical aspects of it. All you need to do is create an account, create a product listing, add your details for like payment gateways and things like that, set up some shipping options, set your product to live, and you're good to go. Now, you are probably going to have to do some kind of marketplace SEO to try and get your products to appear at the top of search results, because basically these online marketplaces are effectively search engines for products. That's basically the way they work. And you're going to have to do some kind of optimization to try and get your products towards the top of the list. But as I say, it's a very easy way to get started because they take care of all the technical aspects for you. They also take care of a lot of the marketing as well, because when they're promoting themselves, when they're promoting their own platforms, so you see adverts for Amazon, you see adverts for eBay, they're also basically promoting your products as well because you're selling through their platform. And they don't really charge you for this specifically. The only platform I know that does is Etsy. They've recently brought in some changes that does involve actually charging you for the marketing they run on your products, which can make selling on Etsy quite expensive. But for most people, as I say, this is a pretty easy way to get started because you just have to create product listings. Everything else is basically done for you. But there are some cons that come with selling on these online marketplaces. And the first one is you're going to pay for the privilege of selling on their platform. And the one fee you're always going to pay via these platforms is whenever you sell a product, you're going to pay a fee for selling that product. Now, what these are called does vary from platform to platform, but on eBay, they are called final value fees. And this is the fee you are charged, as say, when you sell that product. And this is a percentage of the sale price. And nowadays, it does also include the postage you charge as well. It only used to be on certain platforms on the actual like sale price of it, and they never used to charge the final value fee on the postage. But now most platforms just look at the whole amount you've received and will charge you a fee on this. And it does depend on the platform you're using and also the products you're selling as well as to how much you actually pay. And they can range anywhere from like around about 5% up to 25% plus, depending on what you're selling, as say, and the platform that you're selling on as well. So this is something you do want to factor in because it can make selling on these platforms very expensive. And another fee you can incur from these marketplaces is a monthly subscription. Now, this usually applies if you're a registered business seller and you're selling a large number of items every single month. They're going to require you to go on a monthly subscription. A lot of the platforms do have kind of a limited number of products you can sell without having the subscription, but when you start listing a large number of products or you're getting lots of sales, you are going to be required to go on a monthly subscription. And for eBay, I think this starts around about $30 a month, and I think Amazon is around about the same price. Sorry, I didn't do the exact research before I sat down to start this video, but when I checked earlier this year, that was about the fees for the two monthly subscriptions, which is something you're going to have to pay no matter what you're selling. It's a fixed monthly subscription you're going to have to pay. But usually you do get access to more features on the marketplaces when you are on these subscriptions. There's usually more tools to help you generate more sales because obviously they want you to sell more, because the more you sell, the more money they make. Now, another con with selling on marketplaces is you have to adhere to these marketplaces policies. And often these are designed to favor the customer rather than the seller. And in a lot of cases, it can be very frustrating to be a seller. And they will change these policies almost at the drop of a hat. They'll introduce new things. So you have to abide and comply with their policies. And as I say, generally, these are done to favor the customer, and that can really impact on your business. Some changes I've come across the years have been really, really bad, really frustrating, and I've had quite a negative impact on my business because it's usually ended up costing me money somehow. And this is the problem with selling on these marketplaces. You have to abide by their rules in order to be able to sell on their platform. So when it comes to online marketplaces, it's very much a trade-off. You can potentially get lots of sales, but you're going to have to pay for it, and you also have to toe the line and abide by their policies in order to be able to sell on their marketplace. Now, the second thing we're going to be looking at is e-commerce platforms. And basically what these allow you to do is build your own e-commerce website. And there's a couple of different options when it comes to building it. You can use hosted platforms like Shopify and BigCommerce, or self-hosted options like WooCommerce and OpenCart. But they basically do the same thing. They allow you to build your own website. And there are some good advantages to having your own e-commerce website. The first one is you get more control and you have more flexibility over your site. From things like design, you can choose how your website looks. You then also have more control over your marketing. You can choose which channels you want to use for marketing. You're not beholden to the marketplace like you are with Amazon. You choose which marketing strategies you want to use. You also have more control over the payment gateways you use. You have more control over the shipping options you provide. You have more control over your website. You also get to set your own policies as well. Now, obviously, you're going to have to comply with government regulations to make sure your site's legal, but outside of these regulations, the policies are down to you as a business. You set the policies. If you want to make changes to them, you can. They're your policies. You set them for your business. Just make sure your policies are actually legal, which is really important. But say you get more control and flexibility over your site in the long run. The second pro of having your own website is it can be scalable. Now, I know you can scale on online marketplace as well, but it's much more scalable to have your own e-commerce website because, say, what I've just mentioned before, you have more control. The more control you have, the easier it is to scale your business, and you're not beholden to another company. It's your website. You control it. You've got control over your domain. You control the direction of it. You just have more control, and this means that you can add more scalability to it. And if you want to grow your business, it's a great way to do it, is having your own e-commerce website. Now, there are some cons to having your own e-commerce website, which is basically e-commerce platforms. The first one is there's a steeper learning curve because you need to learn how to build your website. Now, some platforms are easier to use than others. For example, something like Shopify is going to be easier to use than Magento, just an example. But there is still a steeper learning curve than just signing up with eBay or Amazon and getting started that way. The second con is it's generally more difficult to get sales on your own e-commerce website, especially if marketing isn't one of your strong suits, because you've got to do all the marketing of your site. You've got to bring in traffic, and then you've got to convert that traffic into paying customers. And that can be quite difficult, especially for new e-commerce websites and people who aren't completely confident when it comes to marketing their site. So those are some of the pros and cons of the two different options. Now, which one is best? Unfortunately, I can't answer that one because it comes down to each individual business. Some businesses, they don't want the hassle of running their own website, and it's just easier for them to use online marketplaces. For other businesses, it can be too restrictive sending on online marketplaces, so they want to have their own website so they've got more control over their business. It does come down to each individual and each individual business as to which is the best option. Now, for me personally, I think a combination of both of these can be a great option for new e-commerce businesses. Now, for certain products, online marketplaces simply aren't going to work. It's just the way it is. But for most e-commerce businesses, having an online marketplace account and also having your own e-commerce website can be a great way of growing your business. Let me explain why. The first one is online marketplaces are generally going to start generating sales quicker than you will through your own e-commerce website. Now, if you're a marketing expert, you know how to run social media campaigns, you know how to run paid ads with Google, then this probably isn't going to be a problem. You're going to start generating sales for your own e-commerce website. But a lot of people don't have this kind of experience, and they need to do some kind of like trial and error with marketing to get traffic to their sites. And this is where you can use online marketplaces to start generating some sales to start with. And then what you can do is you can use the profit from these sales to start investing in your e-commerce website. So you can invest in building the site, or you can invest in learning how to market the site, and also running some test campaigns as well to see what works and what doesn't when it comes to running ads on your site or any kind of social media marketing campaign that you might want to run. So I'd say for me, using a combination of the two can be very beneficial for new e-commerce businesses, and also established e-commerce businesses can also benefit from online marketplaces just as an additional sales channel, because the more channels you have, the more likely you are of getting sales. And some e-commerce businesses also do a great job of converting their customers from the online marketplaces into customers directly on their website. And this is because whenever an order is placed via the online marketplace, they'll include marketing material that will encourage that person to visit their website and buy from them directly, maybe a 10% off discount code or something like that, to try and convert them into a customer that buys directly from them, and then try and turn that customer into a repeat customer. So while they are both ways of selling online, they are different in the way they do this, and hopefully this video has helped explain the difference between the two. So if you have found this video helpful, please drop a like on it, because it does help the channel out a lot. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do by buying me a coffee using the link in the description below. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.